It's time now for a look latest on local news. In the news, Wayne County Superior Court in session this week, and on Monday they had preliminary hearings in criminal cases to determine whether or not there's sufficient evidence to proceed to trial. Defendant John Jankowski and his defense attorney Adrian Browning back in court in front of Judge Gary Browning, as the district attorney's office has two new charges against John Jankowski. One, a rape charge, the second, possession of explosive materials. Lead Detective Bradley Kickletter testified that a woman came forward after Jankowski's original arrest charges in which he's accused of drugging an undercover agent and sexually assaulting that agent. This woman gave the district attorney's office a written statement saying that she was drugged and raped by John Jankowski at his house back on August 1st of 2014, 9 years ago, and that also raping her that evening was former law enforcement officer Wendell Tank Lawson, who since has been arrested and is out on bond on other charges not pertaining to this incident back in 2014. Under cross-examination, defense attorney Adrian Browning asked Detective Kickletter if they had any physical evidence at all that shows the rape actually occurred. Kickletter says that the woman never reported the incident back in 2014, but that the woman, her female friend, confronted Jankowski days afterwards at the VFW and beat Jankowski up. The woman kicked him in his groin and they physically beat him, but none of this was ever reported to law enforcement. Also never reported the incident that occurred again at Jankowski's house back in 2014. Detective Kickletter said the woman was afraid that Tank Lawson was already a law enforcement officer, and she said that John Jankowski had a lot of friends in law enforcement. After the detective was questioned by both the assistant DA, Nigel Lush, and defense attorney Adrian Browning, the assistant DA told Judge Gary Browning that the state simply had no evidence to bring a rape charge against the defendant, but asked that the explosive device charge remain. Judge Browning stated that it was very unusual for the DA's office to admit that they had no case, and Judge Browning did drop the rape charge on Monday. Jankowski still has a bond hearing set for this Wednesday on the charges of criminal attempt to commit rape, possession of Schedule II drug, and sexual assault. After the DA's office dropped the rape charge on Monday, WIFO-FM was able to talk with John Jankowski's attorney, Adrian Browning, and she had these comments.
Here at Defense Attorney Adrian Browning representing John Jankowski today. Judge Browning threw out the rape charge. Even the Assistant DA, Nigel Lush, said they didn't have enough evidence, so you have to be pleased with that.
We are. It was certainly the right thing to do, and I appreciate the District Attorney's Office recognizing that and the court recognizing that as well. We had a public hearing this morning where the lead detective testified that he has no evidence of any contact whatsoever between the alleged victim and Mr. Jankowski. So when that comes out as evidence at a hearing for probable cause, there's only one proper thing to do at that point, and that is dismiss that charge.
There's other charges. The bond hearing set for Wednesday. He's been in jail almost 4 months, so a bond is going to be given on Wednesday. What are the charges still facing John Jankowski?
So the bond hearing Wednesday will address a couple of different things. It will address this initial case, and I don't have my file right here in front of me, but it is the stemming from the incidents alleged to have happened at the Chop House, which would have been the attempted rape, I believe a sexual battery, and a controlled substance charge. Those charges, it has been past 90 days, and he has not been indicted on those charges. And in Georgia, once that happens, a person is entitled by law to a bond. So I don't know what the bond will be, but he will receive a bond on those charges. We also have the one additional charge from today that was bound over, which is I believe it's a manufacture or possession of some sort of explosive device. That was bound over. We'll be addressing bond on that as well.
With these type of charges, where is it that they've not indicted him? Have you asked that question? We've asked that question. Can't get an answer why he's not been indicted.
I don't have the answer to that either. Obviously, it's helpful to us as we ask for bond on Wednesday, but I do not know why he has not been indicted. As we remember, I think you were here for one of the prior hearings where they said they were waiting on crime lab results. Well, we found out at the last preliminary hearing back in August that those were back, and it was not a controlled substance that was tested. And so at this point, I don't have any answers as to why it hasn't been indicted.
Just one clarification, the case cannot go to trial unless it is indicted, is that correct?
That's correct. Well, it could be accused or indicted, but with charges like these, generally the District Attorney's Office is going to present this to the grand jury.
Okay, we'll see you Wednesday.
See you Wednesday.
And once again, those comments of John Jankowski's defense attorney, Adrian Browning. Once again, John Jankowski's bond hearing is set for Wednesday morning at 9:30 a.m. A bond is expected to be set because the case, again, has not been sent to the grand jury and there is no indictment. Judge Gary Browning says there is sufficient evidence in the case against two men charged with attempting to drop off contraband into the FCI prison in Jesup. Law enforcement says they confiscated 11 cell phones and drugs in a bag found in a wooded area around the prison grounds. Ray Haas and Gregory Burns face charges. The state says one man was homeless, living in his car, and was approached to make money by taking the bag to the prison. One man was promised $1,000, the other $1,500. Once again, both men still in jail, and that case will proceed to trial. We'll be back with more news after this word from our sponsor of the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Meeting scheduled all day today. The county commissioners have a call meeting at 2 p.m. for a work session with 14 items on their agenda. Here's the list: solar ordinance, noise ordinance, animal control, PTO, holidays, morgue, hospital land, opioid funding, fire coordinator, Lake Grace Ranger House, sheriff's vehicles, EMS generator, air packs, and Comores land use. All that today taking place at 2 p.m. City of Jesup has a call meeting at 4 p.m. The only item on the agenda is SPLOS 5 intergovernmental agreement, as the county has given the City of Jesup at 11 a.m. Wednesday deadline to sign the original SPLOS 5 agreement without the city's revision that they voted on a week ago today, where the county will simply move forward with the county SPLOS and the cities will lose SPLOS 5 funding. County made this decision last Friday on a 3-1 vote. Commissioner Jamie Hickox was the only commissioner voting against, asking a lot of questions. Here's part of her comments. Here she is asking about a newspaper article about a land deal for a fire department between the City of Jesup and the county.
This is the article in which the land fire department trade was discussed. In this article, Commissioner Tim Cockfield states he had a phone conversation with Chairman McCrary. He states, and I quote, "The whole notion that they were blindsided is just not true. I have the phone records to prove it." Commissioner Cockfield goes on to state, and I quote, "McCrary had asked that it not be brought up in a SPLOST committee meeting to keep Scriven and Odom representatives from asking for concessions as well," close quote. Another quote from the article says, and I quote, "Cockfield said that in a later phone call, McCrary assured him that he had the votes to push the deal through the County Board of Commissioners," close quote. One final quote from that article. I quote, "County Administrator Paul Drawdy has previously noted that the county agreed for the City of Jesup to get a higher percentage from this SPLOS for expensive work on the sewer treatment plant," close quote. Is any information inside of this article accurate? Was there a phone conversation between Commissioner Cockfield and Commissioner McCrary? Did Commissioner Cockfield call Commissioner McCrary? Did Commissioner McCrary call Commissioner Cockfield? And what deal is he referring to that you have the votes to push it on through? In multiple open meetings from this bench, this board has stated that any agreements between the county governments must be in writing. The funds in question could exceed $7 million. Does the county have a motive for a 6-year excess funds to be used in a manner other than by population distribution between the county and the 3 municipalities?
Once again, that's just a portion of the list of questions Commissioner Jamie Hickox asked at the county meeting this past Friday. Chairman Kevin McCrary tried to address the questions asked, but claimed that Commissioner Hickox has a conflict of interest when it comes to issues between the city and county because she's married to the City of Jusup's mayor. He told her that is why she was not selected to be on the SPLOS 5 committee. Once again, the city meets today at 4 p.m. to address the county's 11 a.m. Wednesday deadline. Also meeting today, the school board. They have their monthly meeting at 6 p.m. WIFO-FM will be at all 3 meetings. Have reports here on Wednesday's newscast. Early voting continues this week at the Crack Williams Rec Center, located at 644 North 4th Street in Jesup. On Monday, 48 people voted, bringing the total vote to 319. There are 5,357 registered voters in the city of Jesup. City registered voters deciding a mayor's race and 3 council seats. The race for the mayor between incumbent Ralph Hickox and opponent Tyrone Johnson. Council seats races in District 1, 4, and 5. District 1, the 2 candidates Perry Morgan and Ricky Gradish. District 4, the candidates Margaret Rawls and Jonathan McCullough. District 5, the candidates Mike Deal and Katrina Dumas. This Saturday, also an early voting day. At that time on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday is from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Again, election day is Tuesday, November 7th. All city precincts will be open that day. We'll be back with some final news notes after this word from our sponsor, other commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Final notes in the news. Scriven Mayor Jason Weaver and the Scriven City Council, in partnership with the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce, invites everyone to the Hometown Coffee Card Connection located at Scriven City Hall on Thursday of this week from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. They should come by and grab a cup of coffee and pastries. You meet and have conversation with local business leaders as well as elected officials. And the mayor says he looks forward to seeing everyone there. Again, that's this Thursday from 8:30 to 9:30 at the Hometown Coffee Connection located in Scriven City Hall. Mayor Weaver will join us this morning on the Butch and Bob Show, talk about that, also talk about this SPLOST 5 agreement. He's been on the ground floor from day one about the agreement. Pinking of the Jesup City Final will happen Thursday, October 26th at 12 noon. That program begins inside the Jesup Depot's community room. City Manager Rose Marcus will welcome the crowd and introduce guest speakers Deborah Wynn, a two-time breast cancer survivor, and Tiffany Harker Road, a nurse practitioner for the Lewis Cancer and Research Pavilion at Wayne Memorial Hospital. After closing remarks, the crowd will gather outside of the fountain for a group picture, balloon release, and pinking of the fountain. Refreshments will be served. Again, the public invited and encouraged to attend. Wayne County Board of Tourism's second annual train day is this Saturday, October 28th from 10 to 4 at the Jesup Train Depot. Featured will be model trains, vintage and new, and Atlantic Coastline Railroad dining car place setting, historical information displays on Wayne County Railroad history. This year, the children's play area will be outside in the Wayne Memorial Hospital tent. Children train rides will be held from 10 to 1 on a trackless train. Train day t-shirts will be available for $15. The event is to provide visitors with a train experience to go along with the 3 train viewing areas on both sides of the tracks. The Graffiti on Trains contest is still looking for in need of entries. If you're caught by a train, they say take a picture with your phone and submit it. These photos will be displayed in the community room as well on Saturday. Great day of train fun for all ages this Saturday in downtown Jesup. If you need more information on this event, call the Jesup Train Depot at 912-427-3233 or go to the Tourism Board's website, waynetourism.com. That'll do it for the latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. Bob Morgan, have a great day.